In a major SHTF situation, catastrophic event of some kind that could last for months or years, there won't be any law after a while, and millions of people will be desperate for food, water, and supplies, and they will probably come for yours. So how are you going to defend yourself? Some people will come with firearms, come in groups. You may end up with some kind of a battle going on trying to protect your lives. What are you going to do when you run out of ammunition, or you have to bug out and you can't take all of the ammo with you? Or if you don't have a firearm in the first place? So I decided to do this video to show you ways you can defend yourself without a firearm. I'm going to talk about three ways, well, three categories. The first one is physical hand-to-hand self-defense. The second way is using something other than a firearm to defend yourself. And then the third way is doing things to avoid being attacked in the first place, whether you're staying where you're at or having to bug out. The first category has to do with self-defense. I'm talking about things like MMA, mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, karate, wrestling, taekwondo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Wing Chun, and on and on. You not only learn self-defense, but you also get a full-body workout, which helps with strength and endurance. Now, I took taekwondo for 25 years, from the age of 15 to 40, off and on, mostly on. I taught my son taekwondo. My sister's a black belt, and so it's kind of in our family. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that the best martial art you can take is one you'll stick with. I've seen different schools, students come and go frequently sometimes. That's because it's just not a right fit for them. So the way you want to go about this is research different fighting styles to see which works best with you, which one fits. I put under the description several different styles for you to read about. Now, if you want nothing to do with martial arts at all, at least work out and get your endurance up and your strength. You'll need it for an SHTF situation. The second category has to do with using something other than a firearm to defend yourself and your family from an attacker who's threatening your lives in an SHTF situation. Now, just about anything other than a firearm is going to be much less effective, in my opinion. Be sure to check with state and local authorities to see if you can legally purchase and possess any of the things I'm going to talk about, and find out if there's any regulations regarding any of these, such as having a permit or license. So the first item I want to talk about is pepper spray. This is a saber. It has CS and OC in it. CS stands for the active ingredient tear gas. OC is red pepper. It's good for up to 10 to 12 feet, and that's with no wind. If there's wind, you could get blowback, come back at you. It can go to the side. You might miss altogether. So it's a good idea to get the one that has water in it so you can practice with it. And then this is saber pepper gel. This is good to 20 feet, and it's very accurate. I've used this, and it's very accurate, easy to hit the target with this, and it's resistant to wind blowback, so it's a real plus. They do make pepper spray guns. I don't have one. I put it under the description because I know some people might be interested. It's just a gun that you put a pepper spray canister in, and you can squirt it. Now, the final OC-related type of device I want to talk about is a pepper ball gun or launcher. Now, my wife has a Saber semi-automatic pepper projectile launcher. This has a 7-round magazine, and it holds a CO2 cartridge and 7 .68 caliber pepper balls that travel up to 350 feet per second, and then break upon impact, releasing OC in about a 6-foot radius. It's one of the least expensive that I could find. It was only 130 bucks. This will shoot up to 175 feet. But at 60 feet, they say that it'll cause intense pain, you can imagine. I'll be doing a review on this, more detailed review. If you'd like to see that, hit subscribe and notification. In fact, I'm going to be doing a review on a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, so be sure to check those out. The next device is a stun gun. This is my VIPERTEK. It has a flashlight, and it's pretty powerful. And the thing I like is it's light, and it fits my hand really well. I can defend myself, I feel like, pretty well with this. And if the attacker tries to grab it, they'll get shocked right with these metal parts right here. Now, if you want more distance, you can use something like this Mini Barbarian stun gun. There's different types, different manufacturers, different lengths, and so on. This is my sister's. I bought it for her a while back. But it's pretty powerful. And it's nice to be able to get some distance between you and the attacker with it. And of course, you can use it as a club. I would not want to get hit with one of these. The thing I don't like is this little clip. It's pretty much useless. This thing will pop right off in an SHTF situation. You need to have a holster. I think you can get a holster for this one. I'm sure you can for others that I've seen. But it's also pretty, in the way. So those are the negatives, but it will give you some distance. The next item is an expandable steel baton. This particular one is 26 inches. There's different manufacturers, different lengths. As it sits, it's 10 inches long, and it has a pretty good holster with it. Just put your belt through the loop here. It's a little bit heavy, and again, check with your local and state authorities to see if it's legal for you to buy and own and possess these. But let me show you how this works. So all you need to do is pull it out and extend it by going like that, and then you're ready to go. Now, to close it, I don't want to do that in here because I don't want to ruin my floor, but you just tap it like this and then it'll collapse. The next device or devices are things you can find around the house, such as a baseball bat, a hammer, an axe, a fire extinguisher, so you can create a cloud and make it difficult for somebody to attack you, or even use it as a weapon to hit back, a frying pan, or a heavy pot lid, something like that, to maybe block a knife attack and use it to hit back. So just go to all the rooms in your home and think for a minute, what would you use if you had 5 seconds to grab something? And see what you come up with. The next item I want to talk about is a knife, only as it relates to an SHTF situation that's gotten so bad that there is no law. Because a non-SHTF situation right now is a whole different subject. I think a lot of people intend to have a knife on them to defend themselves in an SHTF situation. I think they get a sense of security holding a knife, and they feel invincible. They feel like, that they can really protect themselves. And I just wanted to talk about whether that might be a false sense of security for some people. So you have to ask yourself first, are you willing to use it? I mean, it's pretty personal. If you're going to use a knife, it's going to be on somebody close to you who is attacking you. You have to be willing to use it. My wife won't, and I know many people who just don't think they have that in them to do that. They're going to use things that I've talked about already. Then you have to examine how well you can use it. Have you been trained how to use it? And if not, do you feel like you're capable of using it against an attacker? And I suppose if you're getting attacked by somebody that doesn't have any weapon at all, this could scare them away, and you can probably do some major damage and possibly kill them. So you have to know what you're doing. If a person's coming at you with a baseball bat, are you going to be comfortable using a knife? If they're coming at you with any of these things, how would you feel if you had a knife? You have to think these things through to decide what you want to do. I know some people that have no problem. I can use a knife. I know some people who are pretty good at taking a knife away from someone who doesn't know how to use a knife without anything. So you have to think this through. Search pros and cons of using a knife in a defensive situation. Let me leave you with this thought. Imagine I have 2 people in front of me, and I give each one a felt pen, and I tell them, you've got 20 seconds to mark the other person up without getting marked. Go. How do you think they're going to look in 20 seconds? They're going to be marked up all over the place. If the felt pen represented a knife and the marks were cuts, the winner would be the one that bleeds out the slowest and dies. So you just need to think this through before you decide that this is your primary defensive weapon. The last category has to do with doing things to avoid being attacked in the first place, whether you're in your home or bugging out. The first thing to consider is making your home look vacant. Let the grass grow, if the fence falls, leave it down, windows cracked, let it stay cracked. I'm taking an additional step here. What I'm going to do is remove everything out of my kitchen, put it all in the bedroom, keep all of the curtains closed except the kitchen. Those will be wide open. And then I'll put garbage on the ground, I'll break cabinets, I'll put drawers on the ground, break stuff up. I'll make it look like the house is ransacked just by looking through the window in the kitchen. Hopefully that'll give me the edge, but it might not. The next thing to do is hide all of your emergency supplies. It's good to bury them away from your house if you can, or if you're not going to do that, bury them in your yard in a waterproof container. And if you're not going to do that, at least bury the most important items in your emergency supplies. Bury those in a waterproof container under the ground in your backyard. And then take everything else and hide it in the attic or the basement. And I mean hide it, don't just put it up there, literally hide it. The next thing to do is get a bug out bag. And I have videos to show you how to make one and how to make a budget bug out bag. So you get a bug out bag ready to go, because when people come in, you have no firearm, they will more than likely. So you're going to have to bug out, at least temporarily. Have some places that you plan on going, stay there for 20 minutes while they're here, an hour, a week, or however long, or just continue with your bug out. When they're gone, come back. And you don't have to worry about making it look vacant at that point, because they've taken care of that for you. Now, another idea is to have some kind of a perimeter alarm or alert system so that you're aware when someone's approaching your property before they actually reach your front door or windows. Security cameras are a good idea. We have direct wired security cameras that go right to a box and then to my monitor or TV, so we're aware of what's going on. I don't rely on a Wi-Fi. And also, I have portable power stations so I can keep that thing going if I need to. So cameras are great. Another idea is just use some perimeter alarm. I'll be doing videos, by the way, reviews on all of these things, so keep that in mind. This sensor here has a solar panel on it, which is really nice, and USB charge, and this is the alarm inside. Mount this up. I think you can get a couple of these, 2 or 3 of these for this setup here, and it'll let you know when someone crosses the path. Same with this one right here. Now, if you don't have any power, one idea is to use a 12 gauge blank trip alarm. And the way this works is you just mount this up on a fence or a tree or something, nice and low. And this is the firing pin in the middle. Just lift this up, it's spring loaded, and then you put in the trigger pin to keep it up. You have your 12 gauge blank below here. And when this tripwire gets pulled out, the firing pin drops and fires off that 12 gauge blank. And that lets you know that someone's out there. If you have a large property, put a few of them out. It's pretty handy that way. So you're saying, well, they'll know you're home. Well, yeah, they will. They will anyway when they come with. It's just to warn me that somebody's out there. And I think it might scare a lot of people away. If I'm sophisticated enough to put something out like this, they might feel like they might end up being the target because I know where they are, but they don't know where I am. Now, another way you can kind of watch the area outside and monitor it for people who might be trying to approach is by using a drone. My wife and I have this DJI 4K drone. Mini 4K drone, and we take it out when we go to the lake or the river and fly it around, take pictures and videos. It's a lot of fun, but we would use this to survey the area and see who's out there. Someone sees this, they're gonna know I know where they are, but they don't know where I am. They won't know because when I land this, I can have somebody in my home. I can tell them just meet it down there, 2 blocks down at this street corner, and I just fly it down there and they pick it up. So they won't know where I am. And that's going to be a scary situation. I can fly this down low enough if they don't have a firearm and shoot at it, or rocks, low enough where they will not be able to stay there because they know I'm watching them, and they'll feel that I'm getting ready to do something to them. So it would be a really good idea, I think, to have a drone. If they do have a firearm and shooting at it, I can just fly it high enough where they won't even be able to hear it, barely even see it. And I can move it pretty quick. In any case, I think it's a good idea to have something like this, especially if you're older or disabled and you already know you're not leaving your home, that where you're at, you're staying, you're going down with your home if you have to. In that case, you might be able to keep people away from your house by having this 12 gauge blank trip line set up, or a drone, or some kind of alarm. There's a possibility you might have to bug out whether you want to or not. Your house could end up on fire. You could end up with sewage backed up in your home. You won't have water to your home, so if you're not near a water source, you have to bug out towards one. There could be rioting so bad outside that it's too dangerous to stay. But there are things you can do to make it less likely you'll be attacked if you have to bug out. And remember, I'm only talking about getting out of town. Once you're out of town, that's a whole new video. So just to get out of town is very dangerous. The first thing you want to do is look and act like everybody else. So don't wear, camouflage military pants and a tactical bug out bag and with an AR hanging out and a crossbow on the other side of you. You're going to be a target as far as I'm concerned. If people are asking for food and things, you should ask for food as you're walking out. they're going to have supplies also. They won't be as sophisticated as your supplies probably, but they'll have stuff with them, so it won't be unusual because you have a bug out bag. So go ahead and ask for things if they're asking for things. If they're looking in trash cans, just look, act like they do. It's better to walk in a group, I believe, because then you're not noticed so much, and there's power in numbers. So if it's a group that seems safe enough, try to walk with them. If you have to be alone, get a shopping cart, put your stuff in it, put garbage on top. There'll be other people with shopping carts at some point, and with actual garbage in it. So so make your way out like that. Now, if you have to, if you see a lot of people, and you just can't seem to find your way out where there's fewer people, that's when you can use your drone, because this is my bug out bag. I leave it in there. And you can survey the area and then decide the safest route to take. And also at nighttime, if you're traveling alone or just a small group, you can use this. This is a night vision binoculars, and they work fairly well. Now, if you want some good ones, they're going to cost you several $1,000s. This cost me $69. Like I said, they're not too bad. When I'm using this out in the greenbelt near where I live, this would help if you're doing some nighttime traveling. So these are just some things that you can do. You can also use a trip line when you're sleeping or camping out someplace when you're trying to get out of town with that 12 gauge blank. So I keep this in my bug out bag as well. This would alert you to somebody who's trying to get near you. So these are just some ideas to help you feel a little bit safer. Something else you want to consider is situational awareness. Be aware of who is around you and trust your instincts. If you see someone approaching you and they have their hand cupped like this, assume they have a knife. If you can't see both their hands, assume they have a knife or something, some kind of a weapon. Be aware who's around you. If there's stairs you're walking by, just look back and look up, see if there's anybody there. Assume you're going to be ambushed around every corner. Look around. You can practice this when you go to the store or the mall. Just walk around and act like it's an SHTF situation. And what corner or what little area do you think people could be waiting for you, to ambush you? This kind of thing. It's probably not going to happen. I'm just saying for practice. Just get your mindset in that way so you can see what it feels like. Now, my wife and I pack our bug out bags in a way that we believe will help us survive getting out of town. I call it the priority layered lizard tail. Now, I'll explain what that is in a second. What I do is I lay everything out in my bug out bag on the floor or bed, and I take the absolute most priority items, must-have items, that can fit in my pockets, in my jacket pocket. Now, for a jacket, if it's summertime, I have another place for it. So I get all these gathered up. Now, I have bug out pants. They're 511 stripe pants. They have 12 pockets in them already. Pockets within a pocket, which is nice because it keeps things hugged near my leg so that the things outside that little pocket don't print or show on the outside part. So it makes it pretty nice. So I can put a little bit more in there than I normally would be able to. So I fill all those pockets up in my jacket. And let me show you a few items that I put in my pockets. Now, after dumping all the contents of my bug out bag on the floor, I pick out the most priority items that I can find that will fit in my pockets. Now, the idea is I take all of these items that are in my pockets and I empty my pockets into a plastic sandwich bag, a hefty bag. And then I put that in my bug out bag. And then what I'll do is if I have to bug out, I get the 511 pants, I put those on, and then I put all the items in my pockets. And I'll talk a little more why I do that in a second. The next step is to take the most important things left in my bug out bag, the absolute must-have items that will fit in my day pack, this little day pack. And it's a black one. I want a dark one. And let me show you some of the items that I put in here. I think you're going to be surprised just how much I can fit into this day pack. I can run a whole lot faster while wearing this. It only weighs 6 pounds. I can even fit more things into my clean canteen. I'll be replacing and adding more items in the next week or so. Remember, if I still have this pack, I also still have the items in my pockets. Now, the third thing I do is I take everything remaining and I put it in my bug out bag. Then I take the day pack and I put that in next on top. And then of course I have all the things that will go in my pockets on the very top part of my bug out bag. And that's how I store it. So if I have to bug out, I put my pants on, I put everything in my pockets, and I'm ready to go. Or whenever I can, I'll do that. Now I do this for a few different reasons, but I'll tell you 2 reasons. The first one is I don't want all my eggs in one basket. So when I'm sleeping at night or day, whenever I'm sleeping, I don't want everything in my bug out bag. So I take the day pack out and hide it. It's easier to hide as well. And I hide my bug out bag, but I don't want it, I don't want everything all together. And I don't want to have to think about what to take in and out. It's already been decided. The other reason is if I'm getting chased, which is possible by maybe 5, 10 people, because most people won't have anything of value, and they're going to chase me, and I won't be able to run with 18, 20, 30 pound pack on me. There's no way. They're gonna catch up. Or I can hurt myself, my back, and I can't run. So the option is to drop it and run, or drop it and fight. Well, I'm gonna lose that fight. I don't have a firearm, and they might. So what I could do is find an opportunity to grab that day pack, pull it out, and hold it like this, and run or walk with it fast. And if it's nighttime, it's dark, so they may not be able to see it very well. And or I can put it on my back and run. A lot easier than my entire backpack. They will go after my backpack, just like when a lizard drops its tail, it wiggles around and the predator goes after that tail while the lizard gets away. Well, my tail is the bug out bag. They go for the bug out bag, and I take off that way with the day pack and all the stuff in my pockets. Now, if they catch up with me and they get that bug out or the day pack from me, then I have what's on me in my pockets. And if I end up, having to give that up under a threat, then I give that up. But they may not know about the hidden pockets. So that's what I call priority layered. And the lizard tail, well, that's the bug out bag. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate it. I wanted you to know I don't make any money or get any incentives from manufacturers for the products you saw today. I bought these myself. And I'll be doing a review on many of the items you saw, an honest review. If you'd like to see that, hit subscribe and notification. Also, if you like the video, press that like button, and if you think people would benefit from this, please hit share. So thank you again for watching, and y'all have a great day.